Hey everyone, welcome back to the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast. I am Mark, your host. That is Ryan over there. Hi Ryan.
Hello.
We had a busy week this week, but we can only talk about one right now. Silly embargoes. Let's talk about the movie that they really desperately want to be really great.
Yeah.
Because it's got a performance in it that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And that movie is The Smashing Machine from A24 featuring Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock. Although they do not put that anywhere on the poster because they want him to be Dwayne Johnson now.
Yes.
The story of MMA fighter, UFC fighter Mark Kerr in the very brief period in his career from 1997 to 2000. Written and directed by Benny Safdie, also starring Emily Blunt and Ryan Bader as his buddy, fellow fighter Mark Coleman. So we have Mark Kerr and Mark Coleman. I know, crazy. Emily Blunt is the love interest, and A24. You know how much we love A24. What were you thinking going in, and where did you come out on this one?
Obviously there's some buzz. Whether or not Dwayne Johnson can act has been a question, and obviously he's been pretty decent in action films. But this is a character drama, so a little different. He wears some prosthetics in this film that make him look less like himself.
Yeah.
And I think that was the idea, although ironically, without the prosthetics, he probably would have looked more like the actual individual, but that's neither here nor there. I think more than anything, they wanted to get away from it being The Rock.
Yep.
And that, which is a hard task. So they gave him hair as well.
For most of the movie.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know a lot about UFC. It isn't something that I've followed really much at all. Beyond some of the bigger headlines, I don't know the characters. So I think this film the intent was to kind of show the early days.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure why they picked this individual. And I think that's ultimately kind of the question that I left with after the screening was, okay, it's not a bad story, I guess, but it certainly doesn't have anything. I'm not entirely certain why this was the individual they picked when particularly, there's another character in this film that seemed to have a pretty good story arc. Why not pick him?
Yeah, my biggest thing is that so much of the story behind this story is untold. So we get dropped in on this tournament, and fighting is a big part of this, obviously. But we never really discuss how the fighting works, where they started, why they got into it. Everything leading up to where this film starts just is unexplored. We're just kind of dropped in. And so yes, we have to care about this character, but we need to understand where he came from, and we don't have that.
Yeah.
So I think Dwayne Johnson puts in a good performance here, but the story behind it is really incomplete in so many ways. And I also found the film itself, what we do get, is very disjointed. It does seem to just kind of like click from here, click to here, click there, and there's no connecting thread. There's no, there's no tendons binding all this muscle together, if you will.
Yeah.
And that's problematic if you want us to identify and relate to this character through the course of these 4 years. So that's my biggest problem. My biggest problem, shockingly, is not Dwayne Johnson doing a serious role.
No.
Will Smith had to do the same thing. He had to go from the action summer blockbusters to get more serious roles and recognition, even though that didn't necessarily end up very well for him.
Yeah.
But so he's having to do the same thing here. And I, like I said, I think he does an admirable job of it. And I think he deserves another shot at it, at straight drama. But in this case, I don't think, I mean, he's the best part of this. His performance is probably the best part of this movie, but it's still just barely a good movie. Just
Yeah, I think
construction and narrative.
I think for him, this was the safest role that he could take as well in dramatic film.
I don't disagree with that.
I mean, it's obviously it's right in. It's not exactly what he does, but it's similar enough.
Yeah.
To what he does that, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. You want to set someone up for success.
Yes.
And I feel like that he was set up for success, and all things considered, he probably it was a successful, at least from his side of things.
Yeah.
I just, again, I don't disagree with you with the disjointed sort of stuff. It just ultimately, the question is why am I being told the story? And I guess kudos for not giving us a traditional sports story.
Yeah.
But I ultimately don't completely understand why this was the story that was told.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, so much of it is for being a real story. So for being based on events in a real story, so much of this feels just so chopped up Hollywood cliche. Emily Blunt comes in as the girlfriend. She's exploitive and manipulative, and and so we've seen the athlete that can't, the guy that can't get away from the girl, and we've seen the two best friends on a collision course. We've seen all that.
And it does feel like the other Mark has a great story too.
Yeah, Mark Coleman.
Yeah,
wife,
so,
3 kids.
It kind of counted out. I just there's that part of me that says
it's almost a Cinderella Man-y kind of point of view for him.
Yeah, and so is maybe that the better story? I don't. Maybe it's more traditional, and again, they wanted to avoid that. But that's a pretty good story over there. And it it's a secondary story in this film, so it is as incomplete as, ironically, the main story.
Yeah.
So you have two incomplete stories that are kind of competing, and I just kind of feel like the wrong one got made.
Yeah, I mean, and even if they had focused more on, because these guys we're told many times in this film that they're very good friends. They've known each other forever.
Yeah,
but you almost never see that. They've got like 2 or 3 scenes together.
Yeah, because at this point, they live apart, separate states, different. I mean, the early days we don't get, so that bond we don't get, other than being told, and you sort of see it, but you're right. I mean, maybe we needed to see more of that.
Yeah, so it's frustrating, is what it is. It's frustrating that there's an interesting sport that evolves, even in this period of this film, but we don't really delve into that. This character evolves, but we kind of get into that, but we never see where he started. So it's really kind of tough to see how he gets to where the beginning of the film is. So there's just a lot of holes that, for a 2-hour runtime, effectively, 203. So, there's an edit in here that gives them more time to flesh that out, and then maybe ultimately add 5 or 10 minutes to the film with that. So that's what's disappointing. But like I said, I'm pleasantly surprised with Dwayne's performance. Yes, they're going to bandy about when I posted my review a little bit ago. I said, yes, award season has begun. Just look at all the quotes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're in award season. I don't know if it's awards worthy. But I think it's laudable.
Sure.
What he has done. I don't know that it's awards worthy at this point, but I think it's definitely it's a very laudable performance for him. So
yeah, and maybe if the movie's better, we feel better about the performance.
That, yeah, I mean, or if his performance had been truly transcendent,
yeah,
that might have picked it up a little bit. But it's just this perfect storm of good performance and mediocre movie.
Yeah,
and that doesn't help any extra you might want to grant him on the performance. So, but yeah, like I said, I think he does deserve another shot. Definitely speaking, and maybe he's already trying to change his physical image.
Yeah,
to probably get farther away from sports. So we'll see what his next project is, and see how that plays out. I'll be interested to see it. So I wonder what he has in the coming up section. Upcoming. Oh, he's got Moana 2. Oh, he's got Fast X coming, but I'm sure he was big. No, that's in pre-production. Oh, he's going to have to bulk back up for that. He's going to have to bulk back up for Jumanji 3. Oh my God.
It might be a while before he gets his next.
Yeah, to his next one. Because then, he's got one, and then that's like Moana, Jumanji, and Fast X Part 2 are 26, 26, and 27. But then he's got like 10 more projects that don't have dates. They're all in development unknown, pre-production. One of those is The King, where he's going to play King Kamehameha. And I would assume that would be a more dramatic role, depending on how they choose. And he won't necessarily have to be big on that. But yeah, that's a couple years down the road. And that's in development unknown. So, half of this stuff is probably not going to happen. So we'll have to see. But yeah, those next 3, he's going to have to be big, and it's going to be not drama. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes from there. So A24 gave us 2 movies this week. Like I said, we can talk about this one this week. We got to wait on the other one. Goodish, but not great.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of UFC, I could see you probably know a little more about the history and
the average viewer.
Yeah, so I could see maybe it really connecting with that audience, and it's not a bad film. It's just not a great film.
Yep, there you go. We've got, like I said, we've got 2 more movies we saw this week, and those reviews will be coming out over the next couple weeks when we can. We've got 2 or 3 movies next week to see, including Tron Ares. So we'll see how that plays out. But until we get to those, don't forget to like us, follow us on social media. You know where all that stuff is. Go to the website, vsmoviepodcast.com. That'll link you to all the written stuff. Go over to YouTube. It's Visually Stunning Movie Podcast. You'll get this aspect of it. And yeah, just anywhere you listen to podcasts, that's where we are. I don't care if you're iTunes, iHeart, Amazon. I don't care. We're there. We're on the list. It's easy to find us. So that's it for the Smashing Machine. We will be back soon. But until we are, be good, stay safe, go see a good movie. There are still some in theaters, we promise. I am Mark. That is Ryan. Bye, Ryan.
See you, friends.